Have you ever laid in bed after an important meeting, replaying every word you said, thinking, damn, I should have said it differently? You toss and turn for 30 minutes, promising yourself next time will be different, but then next time comes, and the same thing happens all over again. I'm Andrew Meet Rich, and I used to be that guy who couldn't get his point across to save his life. I'd stumble over words, ramble endlessly, or worse, freeze up completely when it mattered most. Whether it was asking for a raise, pitching an idea, or even just ordering coffee, I felt like I was speaking a foreign language that nobody understood. Here's the thing, I wasn't born a great communicator. I had to learn the hard way, through countless embarrassing moments and missed opportunities. But once I cracked the code, everything changed. My income doubled, my relationships improved, and suddenly people actually listened when I spoke. Today I'm going to share the exact framework that transformed me from someone who mumbled through life into someone who commands attention every time I open my mouth. We're talking about why your thoughts get scrambled, why smart people often sound confused, and most importantly, the 5-step system to make your words hit like a freight train. Even if public speaking isn't your thing, the next video could unlock a skill that changes everything for you. Hit that like button and subscribe, because mastery starts with small steps, and today is your first step toward being truly heard. Let me tell you about Sarah. Brilliant accountant, 15 years experience, knows her stuff inside and out, but put her in front of clients and she'd turn into a deer in headlights. Sound familiar? The problem wasn't that Sarah was stupid. The problem was that her brain had been trained for one thing, crunching numbers in silence. She'd spent 10,000 hours becoming an accounting expert, but exactly 0 hours becoming a communication expert. Think about it. Most of our daily conversations are purely functional. Pick up milk. Did you pay the electric bill? Can you grab the kids? We're not exercising our communication muscles because we never need to lift heavy conversational weights. Sarah's breakthrough came when she realized something crucial. Her memory wasn't broken, it was just untrained. Just like you wouldn't expect to deadlift 300 pounds without training, you can't expect to deliver complex ideas clearly without practicing that specific skill. Here's where most people get stuck. They think reading more books will magically make them better speakers. Wrong. I read philosophy for years thinking it would make me sound smarter. All it did was make me sound pretentious and confusing. The books that actually improved my communication were the ones that connected to my real experiences, my actual struggles, my genuine interests. When you read about things you care about, your brain doesn't just absorb information, it builds neural pathways for expressing those ideas clearly. Here's the game changer that nobody talks about: audio journaling. Forget the Instagram perfect morning pages routine. I'm talking about real, raw, unfiltered practice. On your drive home, hit record and talk to yourself about your day. Not, I ate lunch, had a meeting, went home. I'm talking about the emotional stuff. I was pissed at Jim because he interrupted me 3 times, and it reminded me of my dad always cutting me off at dinner. This isn't therapy. This is communication training. When you describe how your neck tensed up, how your jaw clenched, how your hands formed fists, you're accessing the rich, descriptive language that lives dormant in your brain. Most people think they don't have the words. Truth is, you have thousands of words locked away in your passive vocabulary. These are words you recognize, understand, maybe even used in school, but never bring into daily conversation. Your active vocabulary, the words you actually use, might be tiny, but your passive vocabulary is huge. The audio diary is how you move words from the I know what that means category into the I actually use that word category. Start small, 3 minutes. Talk about one thing that frustrated you, one thing that excited you, one thing that confused you. Use sensory language. What did you see, hear, feel in your body? This isn't about being poetic, it's about building the muscle memory for rich, clear expression. Here's something that'll blow your mind. The smartest people often sound the dumbest when they try to explain what they do. I learned this the hard way when I was building my first business. I'd meet someone at a networking event, they'd ask what I do, and I'd launch into this complex explanation full of jargon and industry terms. Their eyes would glaze over and I'd think, they just don't get it. Wrong. The problem was me. Einstein said if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. That stung because it was true. I was hiding behind complexity because I hadn't done the hard work of truly understanding my own message. The breakthrough came when I practiced the elevator rule. Explain your big idea in 3 sentences max. If you can't do that, you're not ready to talk about it publicly. Period. I spent 4 hours with one client helping her craft a 60-second introduction. 4 hours. Not because she was slow, but because distilling expertise into clear, compelling language is actual work. It requires thinking, editing, practicing, refining. Simple doesn't mean dumbed down. Simple means accessible. When you're talking to new parents at the playground, you explain your work differently than when you're pitching investors. Same expertise, different packaging. The goal isn't to sound smart. The goal is to be understood. Because here's the truth, effectiveness in communication isn't about being the smartest person in the room. It's about being the clearest. Most people swing between two extremes. They either talk too much or barely talk at all. Both kill your credibility, but for different reasons. The overtalkers dump information like they're emptying a truck. They think more words equal more value. Wrong. When you overload people with information, they tune out. They literally start planning their escape route while you're still talking. The undertalkers give you three-word answers and expect you to be satisfied. They make people work too hard to extract information. After asking follow-up questions twice, most people just give up and move on to someone else. The sweet spot is what I call generous communication. You give enough detail to be helpful without drowning people in unnecessary information. You answer the question they asked plus the question they should have asked. But here's the tricky part. The right balance changes based on your audience, your energy, the setting, even your mood. There's no magic formula. You have to read the room and adjust. Practice this. When someone asks you a question, give them a complete thought in 2 to 3 sentences. Then pause. Watch their body language. Are they leaning in for more or are their eyes drifting? That's your signal to either expand or wrap up. Your communication speed matters too. When you're introducing new concepts, slow down. Give people time to process. When you're reviewing familiar territory, you can pick up the pace. The key is being intentional about your rhythm. Here's your final piece of the puzzle, developing your authentic communication style. Not a fake persona, not copying someone else, but finding your genuine voice and adapting it to different situations. I used to think I had to sound like a corporate robot to be taken seriously. Big mistake. People connect with humans, not with walking LinkedIn profiles. The moment I started bringing my personality into my communication, my humor, my stories, my real opinions, everything changed. Your style should match your message and your audience. Giving a quarterly report, you can still inject personality without being unprofessional. Friends, let's look at some numbers that'll make you smile. See? Same information, completely different energy. Use metaphors and analogies. They're not just for writers and poets. When you compare complex ideas to familiar experiences, you help people's brains make connections. Instead of explaining market volatility through charts and graphs, try, the market's been more unpredictable than my teenager's mood swings. The biggest communication breakthrough happens when you stop trying to impress people and start trying to connect with them. When you focus on clarity over cleverness, understanding over intelligence, service over showing off. Don't wait for the perfect moment to start practicing these techniques. Perfect moments don't exist. Start with your next conversation. Use one metaphor. Slow down when explaining something new. Pay attention to how people respond. Small shifts create massive changes. Master these fundamentals and watch how the world starts listening when you speak. What communication challenge will you tackle first?